Hello, it is Thursday, April 27th, 2023. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Thursday puzzle today, which means some sort of interesting or unusual theme, and I can see through the gauzy privacy veil some sort of odd visual artifact around 15 across, so that'll be thematically related, presumably. We'll have to see. In any case, this intriguing edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by David Innes, Josh Lucas, Bradley Pirtle, and, as always, the invaluable Timothy Mark and the indomitable Showmaster. So thank you so much to the 5 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support sustaining this channel. I really do appreciate it. And if you'd like to become a patron yourself, help keep this channel going, you can head over to patreon.com/dailysolve or click the link in the description field underneath the video. And there you can find the latest this was Bossword's Spring Themeless League competition puzzle number 6. And then I think number 7 is going to be posted today. And then number 8 this weekend, I believe. So 3 of those going up over the next couple days. So do look forward to those if you are a patron. And as a benefactor, of course, like those 5 mentioned earlier, you can get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug as well. Again, thank you to all patrons. And do subscribe to the channel as well, the YouTube channel, if you've not gotten around to that. And you can also join the Daily Solve Discord chat server. There's a link in the description field underneath the video. And let's get on to the puzzle. I don't have very much time today, so depending on how long this takes, I may or may not have time to do any clues at the end of the crossword. So apologies if that is what happens. But in any case, this crossword has been constructed by Michael Schlossberg, who's constructed around half a dozen puzzles for the New York Times, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's start solving and see what's going on. Oh, right. Okay, there are several of these spaces. Interesting. All right, so here's one over here. So this one looks like it's the whole thing is sort of has this white outline or this kind of border erasure, whereas this one maybe only the rightmost cell. I'm not sure if that's intentional because the rest of it looks symmetrical. I can't exactly see what I'm meant to understand this to mean, but maybe it'll become more obvious as we solve it. Let's start solving. The tiniest bit, 1 iota maybe? You could say, I won't help you 1 iota, I won't help you the tiniest bit. Throws in. Tender. Exam for a future, I think this is not correct. Exam for a future OBGYN is probably the MCATs, which is the test for medical school admission, I believe. Blank, not you. It's not you? It's pretty vague, I don't know. One of many in a Seurat painting. I don't know, maybe I'll recognize it when I see it. Useful information metaphorically. The deets, something like that. Well, no, that's not a metaphor, sorry, that's informally. What would a metaphor be? I don't know, I can't think. Swear off. Disavow to tiniest bit. Windbag. International medical group that won the 1999 Nobel Peace Prize, literally. Well, there is an international medical group, Doctors Without Borders, Médecins Sans Frontières, and doctors would fit here. And these cells have no borders. I see. Doctors Without Borders. There we go. So are these all without borders? Oh, maybe it is intentional that this one doesn't have, that this one only, maybe this is something like without end or something, characteristic of an interminal slog, literally. A kind of, I don't know, maybe it is that, something without end or something without end border. That doesn't really make sense, but maybe something to that effect. Let's look at this. Throws in adds. Tender. So it could be tender as a verb or an adjective, or a noun, I guess, technically. But for some reason, I can't think of how any of them fit in 4 letters with an O. Good to go. If you're good to go, you're set. Blank, not you. Maybe it is it's not you. One of many in a Seurat painting. And the tiniest bit, at minimum, or why do I not see what that is? Useful information metaphorically, and swear off. I feel as though I should be getting more in this area than I am. Radical, drastic, radical measures, drastic measures. So tender is I don't know. Film character who says, donkey, two things, okay, shut up. I mean, I don't recognize the quotation, but based on the reference to a donkey, it might well be Shrek because there was a donkey in that film. Oh, useful information metaphorically, grist, as in grist for the mill, used as a metaphor to refer to kind of information, I guess, being added into a consideration or calculation. Swear off. Oh, to eschew something is to swear it off. So the tiniest bit, a smidge could be the tiniest bit. Oh, so right, tender, sore. So in other words, your arm maybe is tender, it's feeling sore. And then one of many in a row. Oh, dot, because pointillism. There we go. Okay, so what about this one? Absolute concentration, literally. So when I looked at this, I sort of thought maybe it was just that they were all supposed to have no borders, but it was a bit buggy, but it must not be the case. It must be specific because this one doesn't have an end border. This one doesn't have internal borders. This one doesn't have I assume it's this one and not sort of parts of these do. This one doesn't have a bottom border. And then likewise with these. But it's probably this one, which doesn't have a top border because it says literally. And I think they all say, yes, they all say literally because we're meant to add this visual description as a literal part of the clue. So what about this? Tiny messenger, RNA, it's messenger element biologically. And then is no more, something is no more, it was. Things that may stand near thrones. May stand near thrones. Question mark. With a question mark, throne could be a toilet or something, maybe. Question mark being a sort of punny indicator. And mushroom in ramen. And gnocchi is a mushroom, I think, that sometimes goes in ramen noodles. I hope I'm spelling that correctly. Windbag, question mark. And like some batteries and baseball teams. Like some batteries and baseball teams. What do those things have in common? I don't know. The three lions on World Cup scoreboards. Well, that's the England national team. And there's a song of that name. Or I guess, is that the name of the song? The three lions on a shirt? Anyway, not sure. Gawk at is ogle. Say when. Say when. You could say if someone's pouring you something. Kind of beetle, a stag beetle is a kind of beetle. So windbag is, it's interesting that it ends with an S. And the characteristic of an interminable slog, literally. I wonder if I'm being misled by my assumption that this is going to be without end, because it might not be. And like some batteries and baseball teams. Boy, this is not going well, is it? I could have something wrong here, but these all seem completely fine. What about this? Things that may stand near thrones. Oh, bidets, maybe? If it is toilets, if thrones are toilets, you could have a bidet, which is a sort of, this washing mechanism that is near toilets in some, I don't know, fancy hotels or homes. Okay, windbag. Oh, bellows, as in a bellows to stoke a fire. You literally, it's got air, you pump air out of it. Okay, so characteristic of an interminable slog, literally. Insight, in light. I just can't see it. That's just infuriating. School with a Big Easy Medical Center. Oh, well, the Big Easy is New Orleans. That's the nickname for the city of New Orleans, and that's in Louisiana. So it could be Louisiana State University. In sight? No end in sight. Ah, I was sort of on the right track, but I was much too wedded to that particular formulation of with no end, and I should have been thinking of other ways that I could say that. I need to keep that in mind for the rest of this puzzle. No end in sight, basically, is the sort of punny clue bit, and then no end in sight is how you'd describe something that is an interminable slog. Okay, great. Ad lib is, for instance, is sort of improvisation. And then, double A, batteries and baseball teams. Right, okay. So baseball teams, right, they have double A and triple A, and the majors, etc. So that's double A is a minor league baseball team. Okay. Absolute concentration, literally. I am not good at this, am I? Intention? What is it? I can't see this one. That feels like probably the right word. Absolute concentration. Single intention or, I can't think. Together musically. Oh, no, it's not. It's attention, because this is, together musically is a due. So, sort of as, two as one, and then absolute concentration, literally. Rapt attention, you have full attention. I don't know why I can't figure out what this is. I'm sorry. Actress Harper of Tender Mercies. Not sure offhand. Slavic name that's an anagram of 12 down. It must be Oleg if it's an anagram of Ogle. And then zip is nada, zero, nothing. Light is... Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe it's none, because I want light to be low or low fat or something, or low cal maybe. Because of the way it's spelled, L-I-T-E, it looks like it's how the word light is spelled in a sort of commercial advertising context. But it could be either of those. Netflix heroine Holmes. Oh, I've heard of this. Enola Holmes, sort of Sherlock Holmes relative. And then spider in a garage informally. I think this might be an Alfa Romeo spider, which is a model of car. And informally referring to Alfa Romeo as just Alfa. Chief Justice before Hughes. Oh, I don't know. Is it Taft? Actually, that would work with low fat. This is referring to the United States Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. And then light is low fat. Some pedicure treatments. Foliation or something? I don't know. Alleviates pain a little, or what this puzzle does to certain squares for literal effect. Takes the edge off. There we go. That is a way to say you've alleviated pain a little as you took the edge off, and that's what we're doing to various cells in this puzzle. Okay, some pedicure treatments. Oh, foot somethings. It's plural, so. Held a session. You sat maybe in court of session, that kind of thing. Endpoint of the Great Wildebeest Migration. Not sure offhand. Of heavy build. If you're of heavy build, well, you could say heavy set, but obviously that's too long, and we're not going to repeat a word from the clue. Not sure offhand. School with satellite campuses in Salt Lake City and Jerusalem. Don't know. It could be many things, I suppose. Well, no, it's one thing, but but I don't know. To me, it could be anything. Mattel game with colorful cards. Is Uno manufactured by Mattel? I suppose it probably is. Some pedicure treatments are... I just can't think. Stout, of heavy build stout. There we go. And the School of Satellite Campuses here ends with a U for university, the least useful letter this could have been. But that's okay. December drink is nog, eggnog. Bird that becomes an emotion if R is added to the front. Egret becomes regret, which is an emotion. Oh, Kenya must be the endpoint of the Great Wildebeest Migration. That sounds perfectly plausible. And, oh, NYU, New York University, maybe? A satellite campus. That's a major enough university that this would be plausible to me. So does that look right here? Foot. Oh, maybe it's BYU, Brigham Young University. That would make actually sort of more sense because it's a Mormon university and Salt Lake City is the capital of Utah, and Jerusalem is obviously a sort of important holy city. So Scrubs, there we go. Separates from the mothership, say, undocks. Not you too, et tu, Brute, as from the Shakespeare attributed to Caesar. And then slay, maybe you down somebody, you slay them. Could be. Conscious of, you're hip to something. Trying to think what would work with two. Haunted house sound. Not sure. Cassette background noise. You could have cassette hiss on a cassette tape. And greenhouse gas regulator for short is the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. I guess this is hip to. So what's the haunted house sound? A thud? Maybe. I don't know. Oh, and then here's another one of these. Charges lacking merit, literally. Something with no bottom. I don't know why I'm just not doing very well with this particular theme. Danish birthplace of Hans Christian Andersen. I don't know offhand. This doesn't ring a bell for me. Gaggles could be sort of gaggles of geese or something, groups, that sort of thing. Dude in a jazz ensemble. Why a dude? Maybe a cat, because we're using sort of jazz slang maybe in this case. Not that dude is jazz slang, but they're saying the equivalent of a dude in a jazz concept. Context could be a cat. So charges lacking merit. Baseless accusations? There we go. This isn't down. Oh, do in. To do somebody in is to slay them. That's more accurate than down is sort of plausible, but not nearly as much as do in. Is this Odessa? Is there a place in Denmark called Odessa? Oh, is it Odette? Like from Swan Lake? I don't know. The name? I don't know. Okay, haunted house sound. I guess it is a thud. And just a general sort of worrisome noise, I suppose. Passes out in front of a TSA agent. ID cards? You take your ID card, your pass out, maybe? Not sure if that's right. Let's check the crosses. Gaggles could be cruise or... Oh, well, I don't know. To gaggle, could you gaggle at someone or would you say to goggle? Source of more than half of the trout sold in the U.S. Is it Idaho? I wouldn't have guessed that, but starting with I in a 5-letter word for a state. Same ditto, you could say. That was the Wordle answer a few days ago, and I was surprised. I'll take that as a no, you could tell somebody. His Excellency or Her Excellency would be a common term of address for an ambassador. Which do I think is more likely? Probably her in terms of this working. Locale known for its slang, a diner. I think there's a whole set of diner slang in terms of how eggs are ordered and things like that. So this would be Her Excellency in that case. Hospital locale, I mean, there are other titles other than ambassador to which Her Excellency can apply, but that's one. Hospital locales, operating rooms, and traits that trigger repulsion. Traits that trigger repulsion. Ick factors. There we go. Whoops. Beach letters could be SPF for sun protection factor on sunscreen. And sometimes in brief. Not sure. Bar on a dish. Not really sure what that's looking for. Digression could be an aside. Sort of a verbal side road. And actress Harper, Tess Harper, that sounds familiar. Think harder. Focus, you could say. It's what I need to do with some of these theme clues. So sometimes in brief are Afts. Oh, is it afternoons? Some time, sort of time of day, perhaps? And bar on a dish is soap. You could have soap on a soap dish. Okay, fair enough. Gaggles of people, crowds of people. There we go. I was thinking kind of more specific group, but no, general crowd, general gaggle of people. How entertaining. Oh, this isn't the clue one. Oh, sorry, this isn't the theme clue. This is some adult nightclub entertainers, literally. Topless dancers. There we go. Okay, topless is sort of a word unto itself, so that was, well, and I guess a more common word than baseless. All right, great. Well, I'm glad some of these went well. Doctors Without Borders went well. Topless dancers went well. The others were more difficult, I think. Can't remember all of them. All right. Laugh track bit. Ha, simply ha. Actress de Armas, Anna de Armas. Channel for a Cinephile. Turner Classic Movies? That reminds me, somebody asked me in a comment yesterday because of my comments about Vertigo what my favorite movie was, and I was thinking of maybe addressing that in the clues after, in the yesterday's clues after today's puzzle, but to be honest, I don't think I have enough time, so maybe someone will have to ask me that again. Per or to slash, what is that referring to? I don't know. I'll feel silly when I realize I hadn't thought of it. Link letters could be URL for Uniform Resource Locator, which is a web address. And maybe this is Odessa. Drag one's feet, or Odessa. Drag one's feet to shamble. And how entertaining, what fun. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, it's Odense. Okay, I would have been surprised if it were Odessa, if there were a place in Denmark named that, but maybe there still is. I don't know. Anyway, how entertaining is what fun. And to icy February. This is referring to the month of February in the U.S. sort of dating convention where the month comes first. So 2/something. And then there we go. All right. Just about a clean 20 minutes on this puzzle. And certainly few minutes extra probably added by this theme. So full attention, absolute concentration. I'm not 100% certain. Uninterrupted attention. Undivided attention. I could be either of those. I bet it's one of those. I bet it's uninterrupted attention or undivided attention. Probably undivided, because we haven't divided this answer up into individual cells. Okay, I'm confident about that. I'm going with it. I'm glad I thought of it before the end of the video. So here we have Doctors Without Borders. No end in sight. This one's very clever, I think. This is maybe my favorite of them. No end in sight. Because we're actually using insight and insight as, well, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is this looks like it's the word insight. It's a word unto itself, insight. But we're turning it into two different words for the purpose of the answer to the clue. I think that's very clever. Anyway, here we have undivided attention. That one's pretty good as well. Baseless accusations. They're all actually quite clever, to be honest. Baseless accusations. And finally, topless dancers. This is probably the least sort of clever one linguistically, maybe. But they're all pretty good. They all worked very well. Once I finally got undivided attention. Very clever puzzle by Michael Schlossberg. I enjoyed figuring out what it sort of looked like a kind of visual, almost sort of visual artifact, the kind of bug. It looked like they were trying to do something that didn't quite work, but in the end, it made complete sense, and I'm very pleased it did, and I enjoyed struggling with it, eventually unlocking its secrets. So there we go, a nice Thursday. This certainly was very much a Thursday crossword by Michael Schlossberg. Enjoyed that one, and I hope you did as well. Hope you enjoyed the video. In any case, like I said, I don't have time today for the extra clues. I have no time at all, but I will be back tomorrow for the Friday puzzle, a themeless crossword with just straight solving and maybe some misdirection. Do join me for that. Hope you do. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Thursday. Take care.